Today we're going to be getting after these old crappie, and what I'm going to be using is these Berkeley goat minnows, the 2.5. I think it's the watermelon pearl. You can get these at any local Walmart or Academy or Dick's Sporting Goods. It's pretty common, but these absolutely catch fish. I don't know if you've been following my channel, but I pretty much talk about them all the time. I use them to catch catfish, bass, crappie, pretty much all the fish love them. But this is what we're going to start off with. I'm going to be using my Duck Commander long poking rod here with a normal jig head, pretty much. And what you're going to do, these things stink pretty good, so make sure you're fishing with your fishing attire. I don't know about cutting away from work and tying some of these on because they actually smell pretty bad. But you're going to thread them on like that there, slide it all the way up, and I'm using a loop knot here as well because I want that jig to sit vertically. And we're just going to cast it out there. Well, not cast it, swing it out there and see if we can get a bite. These actually will outfish minnows, especially when you find a crappie and you don't like carrying them around. These will actually outfish minnows all day long. And all I'm doing is I'm on a old bridge pylon, in this case railroad bridge, and I'm just working these columns. Some of these crappie have kind of spawned out and some of them are kind of done after the spawn and trying to feed up, so I'm catching them kind of in between. You can catch anywhere from a foot of water to still about 10-15 feet, depending on what stage of spawning they're at. But the area I'm at gets pretty warm pretty quick. We haven't had very much of a winter, so spring is pretty warm too as well. So most of these fish are kind of done. There you go, a little guy. But as you see, they work. Little fella, let's let him go. I don't know if y'all see those long crappie rods in Walmart. A lot of people use them to spider rig, and the other percentage of them kind of just use it to poke around, not necessarily casting out or anything. Just dropping your lure next to a brush pile and vertical fishing them. Easy technique. Once you find them, or you know an area they usually hold up at, you can absolutely slay them with this setup. And like I said, I'm just working this bridge column. I worked this one for a little bit. Don't turn up a bite, then I'll move to the other side or on down a little bit. But I like to break everything up into sections. Like that's the furthest I'm gonna go, and then I work it back the other way. And my reel is for you guys up north, you're pretty familiar with these inline reels here, and it's pretty much an ice fishing rod. I like these because, you know, I still have the ability to crank on it, but if I want to drop down, just push this lever, I can drop straight down like that. It's pretty ideal for the type of fishing I want to do. And they're really light too, so you don't get too fatigued fishing with these reels as well, or this combination anyway. And if my people want to know where this spot is at, I call it the old crappie hole. Pretty much catch crap here pretty consistent, but this is Oatmeal Lake, North Carolina. It's the only lake that's in this area, and it is absolutely loaded with crappie. If you pull up Google Maps and find Oatmeal Lake, that was a bite. You find Oatmeal Lake, you just look for the, let's see here, get the camera to pan up, the railroad track that goes across the lake, and you just follow railroad tracks down, and you can kind of stand on the little pylons they have here and fish off of that. Real easy to find, real easy to make it to. Involves a little bit of walking, or if you're from a kayak or a boat, you can still access it that way as well. It's imperative that you maintain your level or your depth, especially once you figure out where they're biting at what depth. You keep that, don't change it up. But you want to start, you know, high in the water column and work your way down. I've came through here a few times with my fish finder, so I kind of know what structure is down there and what depth to kind of fish at, start off at. So that's a bite right there. But we're gonna keep fishing, see if we can get us a, oh damn, I have actually had one on that time. Guess I'm not officially dialed in or awake yet. Oh, come on now. Must be a little guy. And like I said, I'm not overworking my my bait. Not really giving it very much action, and that's pretty standard across the board for crappie fishing. They don't really require a lot of action. They're not really fast swimmers. They'll chase baits to a certain extent, but if it's a bait that's pretty fast in the water, they're not going to bother with it too much. I am definitely missing them. So usually bite a lot of the jigs with the single tail action, and you just kind of float it out there. Like I said, it doesn't require very much action. You wait for that universal thump, or your line to get slack. A lot of people use the oh boy, I thought that was a if that was a daggone crappie, boy, I was about to set the record. But a lot of people use the high-vis yellow. I'm pulling up a brush pile or something. A lot of people use that Mr. Crappie yellow line. I've used it a pretty good amount of times too, but I don't think the crappie really care. But if I'm fishing areas where the wind is blowing or It's kind of hard for me to tell that bite or see that thump or feel it. And then I'll move up to that yellow fishing line. Typically on this setup here, you'll feel that bite. This rod is really sensitive. What I like to do is when I'm picking my crappie rods, I like to pick them up, and then if that thump right there feels really good all the way through the handle, no matter what part I had to hold on to it, even all the way at the back, I feel that pretty easily, then that works for me as far as a poking rod. Casting rod, I'll usually tie that yellow line on so I could see it a lot better. But yeah, just a little note there. Let's get retied up and get at it again. And if you're wondering how I tie my loop knot, it's pretty simple. I mean, I don't get too crazy. Crappie don't get that big, so I'm trying to get too technical, but basically tie my knot. Just a basic overhand knot. And we're going to stop it about 1/2 inch from the eyelet on the jig. I'm gonna double up again with another knot. Don't pull it too tight. Then this time we're gonna go under. We're gonna go under it and tie a knot. Simple knot from the back side, if I can grab it here. And one more just because. And that's how I do my loop knots. Of course, there's probably videos out there or better ways to do loop knots, but like I said, the average crappie size here, before they consider them being trophy sizes, less than 2 pounds. So I'm not necessarily worried about crappie breaking me off. If anything, it's a bass or a catfish that breaks me off. And then once again, just threading them on there. Push it all the way up on the keeper, and that is it. Remember saying that I have mine at the same length of my pole. This is a 10-foot rod. So I can repeat the same thing again, hopefully get big. There we go. Got one on. There we go there, fellas and gals. Yeah, he ate that lure pretty good. Ah, come on, bro. There we go. Got ourselves a warmouth. Everybody don't know what a warmouth is. It's basically a non-normal looking bluegill with a giant mouth. Great flathead bait there though. There we go, I got one on there. Little guy. Just like I figured, they pushed off the bank. Still sitting at about 10 foot, but off of the bank now. There we go. Still no size though. Looks like the exact same one I threw in there earlier. Little feisty joker. Sorry I had the camera off, but I just Had to switch it up. Started throwing around the little, what do you call this thing? Anyway, bladed jig. Got this little guy. They're deep. They're actually deeper than I thought. A little bit better. Not very much. They're liking this Z-Man little mini finesse. When I tell you, these crappie are spread all over the place. I literally am fan casting to catch these guys right now. One over there. Let me guess. One over here now. Nope, but a hang up is. Dang it. I got it back. And a fish. Told you about those hang-ups. Hang-ups has fish on them. I mean, come on. He's tiny.